Welcome to Starwatch Now, your front row seat to all the hottest gossip, drama, and breaking news from the world of entertainment. If it's trending, shocking, or star-studded, we're covering it. Stay tuned. You won't want to miss what's coming next.
Even before a single frame has reached the big screen, one film is already quietly stirring the entire industry. Not with loud promotion, not with exaggerated headlines, but with something far more unsettling. A sense that the rules may no longer apply. Wang Yibo's upcoming film, Mermaid, has become that rare phenomenon. A project that people cannot quite define, yet cannot stop talking about. Why would an art house film, a genre once known for its quiet, almost isolated audience, suddenly attract this level of attention? Why would a director known for his uncompromising artistic vision choose a figure often associated with mass appeal? And perhaps the most intriguing question of all, what happens when two worlds that were never meant to intersect begin to overlap? This is not simply about a film release. It feels more like the early signs of a shift, something subtle yet powerful, unfolding right in front of us. And whether it succeeds or not may not even be the most important part. Because sometimes, the moment something challenges expectations, it has already changed the game. There has always been an invisible line within the film industry. On one side, the carefully crafted world of art house cinema, known for its restraint, its quiet depth, and its selective audience. On the other, the vibrant, fast-moving realm of commercial films, driven by visibility, popularity, and immediate impact. For years, these two spaces coexisted, rarely overlapping, almost as if they spoke entirely different languages. Yet now, with Mermaid, that boundary appears less certain. The involvement of Wang Yibo introduces a dynamic that cannot be ignored. His presence alone brings with it a vast and highly engaged audience, one that does not typically gather around art house productions. But this is where things become interesting. The attention surrounding the film is not purely driven by familiarity or recognition. It is accompanied by curiosity, by questions, and by a subtle shift in how audiences are choosing to engage. Data points often tell quiet stories, but sometimes they speak rather loudly. The growing number of people expressing interest in the film before its release is one such signal. Not because numbers alone define success, but because they reflect a change in behaviour. A willingness to explore something outside of established preferences. It suggests that the audience itself may be evolving, becoming more open to experiences that once felt distant or unfamiliar. At the same time, the creative approach behind the film remains firmly rooted in artistic intention. Director Cheng Er has never been known to dilute his vision to meet expectations. His work carries a distinct rhythm, one that invites patience and careful observation. Choosing to collaborate again with Wang Yibo is not a casual decision. It reflects a certain level of trust, perhaps even a recognition of potential that goes beyond surface impressions. What makes this collaboration particularly compelling is not just the contrast between their backgrounds, but the possibility of alignment. When an actor steps into a space that demands stillness, subtlety, and emotional restraint, the transformation required is significant. It is not about performing louder, but about expressing more with less. And in this context, the effort behind the performance begins to matter in a different way. There have been quiet reports about the physical demands involved in the filming process. Scenes shot in extremely cold environments, sequences requiring prolonged time underwater, and a noticeable absence of stand-ins for physically demanding moments. These details are not presented as spectacle, but they add a layer of authenticity that is difficult to replicate. They suggest a willingness to step beyond comfort, to engage with the material in a more direct and immersive way. Yet, even with all these elements, the conversation surrounding Mermaid does not settle into a single narrative. Some see it as a bold attempt to bridge two distinct worlds. Others approach it with caution, unsure whether such a balance can truly be achieved. And perhaps this uncertainty is precisely what keeps the discussion alive. Another subtle but fascinating shift can be observed within the audience itself. Viewers who may have initially been drawn by familiarity are now engaging with aspects of filmmaking that they might not have considered before. Discussions around visual composition, pacing, and thematic depth are emerging in spaces where such conversations were once rare. It is not about sudden expertise, but about growing interest, a willingness to look a little closer, to understand a little more. This kind of movement does not happen overnight, nor does it follow a predictable pattern. It unfolds gradually, often in ways that are difficult to measure. But when it does occur, it can influence not only how films are received, but how they are made in the future. Because ultimately, the relationship between creators and audiences is always evolving, shaped by both expectation and surprise. Of course, the final measure of any film lies in its completed form. Once the lights dim and the screen comes to life, all discussions, predictions, and assumptions begin to fade. What remains is the work itself, standing on its own. Whether Mermaid will meet, exceed, or redefine expectations is something that only time will reveal. But perhaps the more meaningful observation is this: the conversation has already begun. The boundaries have already been questioned. And in a landscape where change often happens slowly, even a slight shift can carry significant weight. There is a quiet confidence in allowing things to unfold without forcing a conclusion. Not every story needs an immediate answer. Some are more powerful when they remain open, inviting reflection rather than resolution. And in that sense, Mermaid is not just a film waiting to be released. It is an idea in motion, shaped by the choices of its creators and the responses of its audience. If you have found this perspective thought-provoking, if you enjoy exploring the deeper layers behind the stories that shape the entertainment world, then you are always welcome here. Starwatch Now is a space where we look beyond the surface, where we connect the dots, and where we follow the subtle changes that often go unnoticed. Thank you for spending your time with us today. If you would like to continue this journey, feel free to subscribe, share your thoughts, and stay tuned for more stories that unfold in unexpected ways. Until next time, take care and keep watching closely.